Michele McKnight here on this Women Crushing It Wednesday on the all-new Vibe, Houston's Culture Evolution at KTSU 90.9. And I have my next guest that is joining me on the show right now, Jennifer Trevino. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited and a little nervous at the same time.
I don't know why you're nervous. It's,
I don't know.
It's Women's History Month, and we're celebrating all women from all walks of life, of course, from right here in our hometown, H-Town. And I'm excited to have you. You are our first realtor that we're inviting on the show.
I'm honored. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And, you know, times have obviously changed. And I don't just mean because of COVID, even though it seems like in the midst of COVID, the house market just started to boom.
Yes,
ironically.
The rates, they're so low. Now's the time. Actually, they went up a little bit last week, but it's not a lot. They're still really low. Like it's definitely time to buy. So if you're thinking about it, ask questions because now is the time. The rates are so low. Yeah,
and that's a blessing. That's even something I'm thinking about starting to get into the market for.
Yes.
But you know, one thing that you see a lot of now here too, between 2020, 2021, really like the last 5 years, is women specifically. Things have kind of shifted as far as what we used to look at as traditional, like
buying a house with your husband,
buying a house with your husband, or you know, exactly, or you know, you're getting ready to expand your family, and so now is the time for us to get in a market to start looking at a house. But now the tables have literally done a 180. You know, you have women as young as 21 and 22 who are moving into that chapter of their life where they're like, I'm getting ready to buy my first home, which is amazing.
One of my very first clients was actually a girl. She was 21, and she's like, I want to buy my house.
See?
Yeah.
And that's great. And, you know, I think a lot of people get kind of intimidated when they think about it because it is such a big investment. And when you're kind of still figuring out the direction you're going in life, where's my career taking me? Am I going to have a job next week or not? Is another pandemic going to like spark up? You know?
And those are valid questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the way I see it, this is an investment. Let's say you don't want to live there in 5 years, lease it. It's passive income. And that's what I want to get into next is I want to have like 2 or 3 investment properties.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's money. Like being a realtor, I don't have a 401k. So I have to find ways to save money and make money. So I would definitely say if you want to buy, do it.
And Houston is a great market for you to be an owner, for you also to be in a position to rent out a property. Airbnbs obviously is in very high demand right now. So a lot of people, you know, will utilize it as a rental property in that way as such too. And so again, going back to just being a first time home buyer, obviously that can be somewhat of an intimidating process, but I do kind of want to just maybe go through some of the steps that you would recommend to people that are in the market for that. So we're going to have more with Jennifer Trevino on the way here. Keep those radios locked into Houston's Culture. It's the all-new Vibe, powered by KTSU 90.9. Michele McKnight here on the all-new Vibe, Evolution at KTSU 90.9. It's Women Crushing It Wednesday here at the beginning of Women's History Month. And again, if there is anyone that you would ever like to nominate to be a guest on the show here, you can do so at vibehouston.com. But we are talking about the markets, that the fact that there's no better time than the present. If you are interested in being a first-time home buyer, now is the time for you to look at it, especially the way that the rates are in the market. We have special guest Jennifer Trevino, who is a world-renowned, H-Town renowned realtor that is here with us tonight. And one thing I mentioned before, and I'm sure that this is something you can attest to with some of like your new clients that you may have, is kind of the intimidation of someone wanting to get into buying a first house. Is my credit okay? How much money do I need to have saved up to actually put down on it? How do I really even determine what my price range is? You know, and so what are some of the tips that it is that you provide for those clients and even people that are just inquiring on how they should move forward?
So the first thing would be to get with a lender and a realtor to help you. You want to also get your finances in order. Your credit, yes, you have to have good credit. Some lenders can get you in a house with 580. Others 640.
Really?
580. Yep.
Wow.
But I would the better the score, the better, because your interest rate depends on that too, and then also how much money you make. We can do W-2s, 1099s, but it takes a lender to go in there and look at everything, run your credit and check. And some lenders will even tell you, okay, you can't right now, but this is what you need to do to get on track to get into a house. But I would say definitely the better the credit score, the better the rate.
Of course. Well, yeah, the better your credit score, the better your life is going to be in general.
Yes, and you have to be like, I know people don't talk about it a lot, but your credit, get it up. Get it up. I know people get on Credit Karma too, but that's not exactly what the lender looks at. So just because you have a good score on Credit Karma doesn't mean that.
And so while we're on the topic of credit, because I know that you have 3 different credit bureaus that depending on who
the
it
FICO.
is that you're
they look at your
FICO score. Okay. And for people that don't know what a FICO score is, what is that?
So it's one of the 3, and I'm not too well versed on that because I'm not a lender either, but they definitely look at your FICO score. And so anything 580 and above is what they're able to work with. Well, there are also some lenders that don't do 580. So we have to find a 580. And that's one of my very first questions when I talk to a potential buyer. I'm like, okay, how is your credit looking? And they're like, oh, well, it looks like in the 580s. And then so I know I have a group of lenders that I work with. And I'm like, okay, so these do 580. Let's try these too. And then that's how the process starts. But the main thing is also like make sure you have money in the bank, like have savings for down payment. There's closing costs. A lot of people don't, they think it's the same thing. So your down payment is what you're going to put down for the house. And that's going to depend too on if you get a conventional or an FHA loan. And the conventional can be anywhere from 3 to 5%. And the FHA is 3.5%. And that also depends on your money and your interest rate, what you get.
And you also have to make sure your taxes are legit and up to date too.
No, that's a big... Yes, you have to do your taxes, guys. They usually ask you for 2 years of taxes. They do 2 months of paycheck stubs, 2 months of bank statements, and also your W-2s, 2 years of W-2s. Did I say 2 years of taxes? 2 years of taxes.
2 years.
2 years of W-2s.
And if you're an entrepreneur,
you can still do that. Yeah, you can. So you just have to have 2 years of... They check
of your income tax. So you have to make sure that you are a legit person legally here in the U.S. of A.
Well, you know what? You can also do I-10 if you have a I-10 number. We can get you into a house. I actually just closed on one last week with an I-10 number. So yeah, there's various ways. Best thing is to talk to a lender and talk to an agent to get yourself into a house.
And potentially even talk to Jennifer. And so we'll get into how you can get in touch with her here on the way on the All New Vibe Houston's Culture Evolution at KTSU 90.9. Keep those radios locked in. It's the All New Vibe, Houston's Culture, powered by KTSU 90.9. And we are excited to be at the beginning of a new month. Fresh energy, fresh perspective, a fresh start. It may not be the beginning of a new year, but it is the beginning of a new month. And it's the beginning of Women's History Month. And so we really are just looking to extend ourselves, especially when it comes to Women Crushing It Wednesday. We want to celebrate as many women as possible here this month with Women Crushing It Wednesday. So we're bringing even more dope women into the studio. We have Jennifer Trevino is a realtor here in the Houston area. She's been talking to us about if you have interest in being a first-time home buyer, don't wait. Reach out, ask the questions that you need, even if you're not ready right now, even if your credit score isn't ready. She even has programs and people that she works with to help you get your credit on track for you to be able to, in the near future, move into buying a house.
Yes, there's credit repair companies. If you are interested, hit me up. I have a credit repair company that I can recommend. And speaking of programs, I forgot to mention too that there's also down payment assistance if you qualify for it. So that's another thing. Definitely ask the questions once you talk to a lender, once you talk to an agent. Of course, talk to me. I can help you. But yeah, there's a tons of programs out there for like if you're a first responder as well, things like that. So yeah, and credit repair as well. I can help you with that.
So lots of assistance that you can tap into. There are lots of resources. Again, don't be afraid. Don't be intimidated just because maybe you're the first person in your house or household growing up, first person in your family and your group of friends. Don't let that deter you. Ask the questions that you need. And ultimately, even like what you said, you don't know where you'll be in the next 5 years. However, it's something that you can turn and it can be a property that you rent out.
And maybe you have enough equity in 5 years to sell it, so you just, I say do it.
Yeah, go for it. And if you have any questions, if you would like to advise with Jennifer Trevino, of course, for any questions that you might have, what is the best way for them to get in touch with you?
You can call me. My number is 281-788-0538. Or on Instagram, it's JennyFly. My Facebook page is Jennifer Trevino Realtor.
Okay. And then, of course, we'll share all the information on our Vibe Instagram as well at The Vibe Houston. But thank you so much for joining us here.
This is so fun.
It was. And of course, maybe we'll have to have you back here in studio in the next couple of months.
I would love to.
Yeah, and the house market is always changing, right?
Yes,
Rates
it
and
is.
everything.
Mm-hmm. Right now we're in a seller's market, so there's not enough inventory, and so there's multiple offers happening everywhere for every house. But it's great.
Okay, cool. So we'll have to check back in with you here in the next couple of months. So again, if you have any questions about home buying, Jennifer Trevino is going to get you prepped in a big way. We again have all of her information that is tagged on our Instagram @ToTheVibeHouston. And if there is ever a woman of influence in the Houston area you'd like to nominate to be a guest here for Women Crushing It Wednesday, you can do so up at vibehouston.com. Thank you, Jenny.
Yay, thank you for having me.